What is up, RotoGrinders? 1 hour nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all up the lock. Kind of a baby slate. That's why we're joining late. 7 o'clock is the first game, a doubleheader tonight on TNT. Not sure about LeBron. We're assuming he's going to play at this point. He's officially questionable. They just ruled out 2 of his teammates. If you missed it, DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith is out and Gabe Vincent is out. Other news as far as body parts, who's in and who's out. Anything? Mike Conley, midday downgrade, back half of a back-to-back. He's old. I think he played 30 minutes last night. They gave him a thumb. There's a decent chance he sits, despite the fact it is a quote-unquote revenge game. He's like 5 revenge games removed at this point, I feel like, for Utah. Şengün also officially questionable for Houston. That's the back half of the TNT doubleheader. By the way, side note, according to ESPN, you can get into that game for $2. $2 before all the service nonsense. $2? Really? In the Grindhouse? That seems like a pretty good deal. It is Bobby Gomes, $4 million winner. Of course, it's Noto. You guys don't know Notorious from a variety of things. I was complimenting him for his golf stuff pre-show. I think you actually took something down tournament-wise, right? This last week. Shout out to you. Tell the people what you won. Also, I think we're in the same algorithm because I watched the Paradise.
Nice.
You wrote about it in the core plays today. I've not started the second season of Severance just yet. I feel like I'm not ready for it. I want a couple episodes to kind of build up, and I gotta watch what happened last season because I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Ironically, I guess. Paradise. I'm not sure if I'm in yet. I mean, I'm giving it a shot. I thought it was a really interesting first episode, at least. An interesting pilot. Interesting concept. But are you fully caught up? No spoilers, of course, for the people, but you're recommending it already after 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3. I don't know. I mean, anything that's worth watching, I'm in on. I like the 2 main actors, so I was in from the start. And it's been good. And Severance, I mean, we had to wait so long for season 2 that I can't be waiting. I think the 3rd episode of that comes out tomorrow. But I haven't rewatched season 1 too.
Oh, that's the move. I didn't rewatch season 1, and again, like you said, it was like 2 years at least. And I got to at least watch like some video on YouTube, like to help me catch up, or some sort of podcast, because I feel like I forgot a bunch of stuff. Bobby, we're talking gibber. Do you know what we're talking about? Do you care what we're talking about? How are things in your world there, Bobby Gomes?
Doing pretty good, Dean, other than the fact that you're skipping my birthday party tomorrow, birthday dinner. I invited you, and
wow.
I just feel
really late invite, to be fair. Really, he gave me a 24-hour notice.
Like a month ago, dude.
You didn't tell me what day?
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are things?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Excited for the slate. Usually prefer the sprint slate, but I guess we're going to wait on that Conley news. I think the expectation is he sits. Those 2 games at 7 o'clock, both teams, the Lakers and Cavs, have pretty high team totals, so going to be targeting guys from that game. I think it's a good slate overall.
Yeah. I was building some lineups pre-show, and again, working up to the bell. I don't want to get caught like last time. So, and things might change, of course. I might take stuff on the fly, but I'm having a hard time not just like loading up on Lakers and Timberwolves, and I feel like that's super chalky, but it's also like super obvious. And I'm also kind of assuming Conley's not going to play, so I'm sort of artificially baking up a little bit. He's already like looking pretty good, and it's a revenge game for him as well, right? Lots of revenge. Rudy Gobert, Conley. Utah's actually playing their players. Like the opponent's decent enough where they don't have to make up these fake injuries. So, Markkanen's back, and Collins is back, and Kessler's back. So it's the back half of a back-to-back for Minnesota. It could be a tough game for them, actually. I don't think it's going to be a pushover. Historically, Utah, really, really tough place to play. It's the second highest elevation behind Denver, right, Noto?
I believe so, but yeah, they suck.
Anything else? We'll do the game by game, and then we'll have some time, and then I'll sort of do like a smaller version of what they do in crunch time. We'll go like position by position, maybe give like our favorite play, that kind of thing. What is the context of that? Negative Creep says I am rude. Was I being rude? Did I say something rude?
Because you're skipping my birthday, Dean. You're skipping my birthday.
No, I mean, Do you want me to send you something? Can I? Are you registered
I don't want
anywhere?
a present. I don't want. I think that's why you're skipping, because you think you have to bring me a gift. I don't want a present. I want to treat you to dinner. I want you to get out of your house.
At what age do you stop getting your boys presents? Like 20?
Yeah, it's been a while. We used to like have a birthday dinner kind of thing like that. We used to do that, but giving your friends presents. Oh man, yeah. Occasionally, you give if it made sense for that particular time and you're running to something, but I don't think that's the thing anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like girls give each other presents, but not guys.
Typically, yeah. Bobby, you giving your boys presents?
No, it's dinner. If we all go out and get dinner, I'll chip in on the dinner. But I'm not even asking you to chip in on the dinner, Dean. That's the thing. I'm not even asking you to chip in on the dinner.
Can you split off the chicken parm if you don't mind?
Yeah, how old are you, Bobby?
You can take the leftovers home, Dean. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
36. I'll be 36.
Nice.
And wait, is it officially tomorrow, or is it you're celebrating tomorrow, or it's all tomorrow?
It's officially tomorrow, Dean. Officially tomorrow.
Speaking of birthdays, by the way, I was talking about this last night with Amen Thompson turns 22 today. Future top 5 player in the NBA, Amen Thompson, turns 22. Am I being too ambitious saying? I think he could be a top 5 player in the league. I really do. I'm not sure if I'm going too high on that, but yeah, I want to get some Amen stock if possible.
Do you want to get some stock in him tonight? Is the question.
I mean, he's fine. 5-game slate. He's probably going to play 40 minutes. Memphis plays really fast. So sure. But yeah, we'll have that conversation. Yeah, the minutes have been completely absurd for him. We don't know about Şengün. I assume he plays, but we're not sure about that. And we're not going to know. Almost definitely not going to know when we're signing off, because that game is, again, the back half of the TNT doubleheader. It's a 9:30 starts. No, you want to give me any sort of by the way, it's a Fleet Thursday. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It is a Fleet Thursday, which means athlete. Tell me what athlete we're talking about. I'm talking about. Clues are scrolling. They'll drop every 10 minutes or so. I have some bonus clues if necessary. Producer Steve had already dropped the first one. This isn't going to really help you, but it's good to know. This athlete is retired. They're no longer playing sports professionally. Give me the guess in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. First person to guess correctly, you get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. No, give me the big picture, the 20,000-foot view as far as this slate. Do you agree? It's Lakers in Minnesota. I know you like the Lakers. I saw your expert survey stuff. So, and now they rule out a couple guys. So the rotation can be really, really tight tonight. And also they're facing the Wizards, who are terrible.
Yeah, on DraftKings, just the optimal right now. Getting a lot of Lakers, getting a lot of Washington as well. So if you want to stack up that game, certainly makes sense. I never trust Washington myself, but don't mind J-Val a little bit. And then, yeah, definitely want some Anthony Edwards. If Mike Conley's out, we're going to get a lot of value on Minnesota. Obviously, love that matchup against Utah. So kind of with you. I do think it's a good spot for Houston. Memphis, fastest paced team in the league. So might get some Amen Thompson. And, yeah, I don't know. I like the bigs against Atlanta, too, in tournaments.
Yeah, they're also on the back half of a back-to-back. There are 3 teams in the back half of a back-to-back. It's Washington, Cleveland, and Minnesota. Garland is back. We'll get to that game in a second. He rested last night in South Beach. Bobby, what do you got? Anything overall, anything big picture you want to point out before we dive in and do the old game by game?
No, let's hop into the game by game.
Okay. We're going to assume LeBron's playing, unless otherwise noted. Again, it's an island game. They already acknowledged the other 2 guys are out. That's DFS and Vincent. They're without Anthony Davis, obviously, probably for at least a week, they said, and possibly longer. Jackson Hayes drawing the start here for the Lakers. We got Reeves, Christie, Hachimura, LeBron, Hayes taking on most likely Poole, Koulibaly, George, Kuzma, and Joval. Joval was a big bust last night, but they also got shellacked. They got blown out because the Wizards, I believe, have lost, 15, 16, 17 games in a row? It's pretty spectacular. The Wizards and Utah combined have lost 22 in a row. So shout out to them. Bobby, Lakers, Wizards, how much Lakers is too much Lakers?
Yeah, currently getting a lot of Lakers. Going to have a bunch of Rui. LeBron's probably my favorite spend on the slate. There aren't really many spends. 10-5. I'm going to try to be overweight on LeBron. I just think the Lakers have a good team total, good spot versus Washington. Obviously, Washington's terrible, but I feel like they could probably hang in a little bit. On the Washington side, you could always go to a guy like Jordan Poole. I think Jonas Valanciunas is the guy who's going to probably get the most ownership from the Washington side. I worry about the ceiling, but I'm fine with Joe Val on the slate. Outside of that, it'd just be Jordan Poole, Joe Val. I guess you can throw Kyle Kuzma in the mix as well. A little revenge. We're talking revenge narrative on the slate. But yeah, my favorite play from this game would be, like I said, LeBron, and then followed by Austin Reeves.
Yeah. LeBron has a raw points projection. You kind of talked about it, Bobby. He's got a raw points projection of like 10 points more than the next guy. The next guy being Edwards for Minnesota. And like, he doesn't necessarily need to put up like a 70. He certainly can. But if he puts up like a 65 or so, or a 60, maybe 55, just raw points can be useful on this slate. And again, we're assuming he's going to go. And you kind of hit the lock button to get over the field on him because we're currently at 58% on LeBron. And no, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Is that right? 38%. I was reading his actual point projection. I believe that's going to go higher. Our ownership has not been updated since 4:30 or so. Of course, we're going to get it updated at some point. Maybe I got to hit refresh, but I anticipate that it'll be higher. Yeah. No, you're playing probably one lineup, and LeBron's in that lineup, right? There's no way he's not in that lineup, assuming he's playing.
Yeah, he's really my only core play tag right now. I'll probably add a couple throughout the show, depending on the rest of the guys we talk about. But one guy that's really interesting for me on the Lakers is Max Christie. He's going to see an uptick in minutes. I was just running the on-off tool on Fantasy Labs. He sees a 9% usage boost with Davis and Russell off the floor this season. You think, maybe that's a small sample size, but he's played 200 minutes, 198 with those two off the floor. So he also sees a nice DK point per minute boost, as does Austin Reeves. So like both of them. And then wasn't Jackson Hayes? Didn't he used to be a really good per minute guy? Hasn't been great this year, but man, against Washington, I'm certainly interested if nobody's going to play him.
It is the number one matchup for Max Christie, by the way, if you call him a shooting wing. Well, you said he goes up 9% as far as usage. What does he jump up to, like 20% usage? What does he actually land at? Because he's not a big usage guy, obviously, with LeBron, Russell, and Davis in that when they're on the court. He's definitely a stand in the corner kind of guy.
So yeah, up to 23.
Okay. Yeah, and we're projecting 32 minutes. I'm just trying to figure out how many can I play 4 Lakers, because I'm getting lineups of 4 Lakers and they all look pretty good. Like, we haven't talked about Connect. This feels like a game where Connect can get loose as like the 6th man off the bench. Obviously he's got his hit his threes, but certainly you can hit threes against Washington. The Brewery Revenge they're talking about in chat as well. 32 minutes going his way. Austin Reeves looks awesome. Even at 8.5. If for whatever reason LeBron doesn't go, Reeves will probably spike up even more as far as usage and projection and all that stuff. But I want to play Jackson Hayes. He's not projecting great, Noto, and you kind of pointed that out, and I'm glad you did, because I'm going to play him at least one lineup. I think he's got a chance to put up 35-40 at 4-5. Is he somebody you're considering in the pool for you?
Yeah, especially we have him less than 20% ownership right now. And again, I want to say he was above a point per minute, fantasy point per minute last year. So definitely a guy I want to play in my single entry stuff. Not sure if I'll get there, but if I do, I certainly wouldn't be mad about it. Same with Max Christie, same with Rui. Like you, I think I'll end up with probably 4 Lakers on my main lineup.
Yeah. We got Javier in the chat saying, I think LeBron sits. I guess he can still sit. Yeah.
Then we definitely want 4 or 5 Lakers.
Probably 5 at that point. I mean, the thing is, Vincent would be a guy, but he's not playing either, and DFS is not playing. Your favorite run back for the Wizards, Noto? Do we trust Joe Val? I think Joe Val's he wasn't good last night, but he wasn't horrendous. And again, he lost his entire fourth quarter run. There's not much behind them, like Rashawn Holmes, and they have Vukovic, Tristan Vukovic. I should be clear, it's not another. Yeah, yeah.
I kind of like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of like Kuzma a little bit. You get the revenge narrative. He's been better lately. 6,500 is not too bad. But yeah, I don't mind J-Val. Another good per minute guy. He's been real quiet recently. He's been under 27 in 9 of his last 10, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, those two would probably be my favorite. I guess the Jordan Poole revenge too, man. We just got revenge. Or no, it's not. I'll just stop talking.
Yeah, I was like, Poole. I didn't think he played for the Lakers.
Yellow team in California.
Yeah, it's a fair thing to screw up there, but we shall move on. It's just so volatile. Like you mentioned, Poole. Like he was just when he's bad, he's horrendous. Like he was just horrendous yesterday, just unacceptable. And actually, we got a pretty good game out of Kuzma for what it's worth. But we shall move on. We'll go ahead and drop this second clue for the people because retired is not very helpful. Maybe guys is helpful. Maybe guys is helpful. Guys is the second clue for Athlete Fleet Thursday. Give me the answer in the Discord channel. Atlanta taking on Cleveland, 240.5. That is a total. That's a big boy total for sure. Cleveland on the back half of a back-to-back at home. 10-point favorites here versus the Hawks. If you missed it, Jalen Johnson, he is donezo for the year, which is a big bummer for Atlanta. Bogdanovich is out. They actually told us this time. Thank you. Capella's out. They actually told us this time. Thank you. And Trae Young is available with his hamstring. Cleveland, LeVert's still out. Okoro's still out. D. Wade's still out. Sam Merrill, questionable. He's been questionable and not playing of late. All right. Noto, set the table for Atlanta. Cleveland. But that wasn't coincidence stuff, right? What happened with Bogdanovich and Capella. All that stuff was planned, right? That was all nonsense. They just didn't want to tell us for whatever reason.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah. Thanks, Atlanta. Yeah, I think this is the front half of the TNT doubleheader, national TV. Your thoughts, Hawks, Cleveland, start wherever you want to start.
Hard for me to get a bunch of Atlanta exposure. 10-point underdogs. They're one of the only teams with a lower team total than their season average. Not a great matchup on the road. So don't have a ton of interest in single entry stuff, small field stuff. Okongwu is probably my favorite, but man, I hate targeting bigs against Cleveland. He's been kind of quiet the last couple of games too. So probably not going to have a ton of Atlanta. But on Cleveland side, I really like their bigs. Missing Jalen Johnson, missing Capella. I think it's a really good spot for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in tournaments. Darius Garland, didn't play last night, so he might be fresh in this great matchup at home. Yeah, I mean, you can go Ty Jerome and like large field stuff. He's one of those guys that can come off the bench and put up 30-plus fantasy points. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is in play too. So I like Cleveland better than Atlanta, but I really like the bigs here.
We just got some news that maybe we shouldn't play 3 Lakers or 4 Lakers because Ja now downgraded to doubtful. So I assume that means he's out. Merrill, by the way, officially in for Cleveland. The thing and we'll get to Memphis, and I assume our projections will change on that soon enough. But they still have a lot of dudes. Like Kennard might be interesting. He's been getting some run, a little extra run. Pippen, of course. Pippen's down to 3.8. Kennard's down to 4.1. So they could be useful. I'm curious how that lands. Of course, they run a pretty big rotation, 9, 10, 11 guys sometimes. Bobby, your thoughts as far as Cleveland and Atlanta? Again, officially in for Cleveland is Merrill. Yeah,
with Cleveland having the highest team total in the slate, I think I'm going to have probably a Cleveland guy on every team currently. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, getting a good bit of all 3 of those guys. For the values, I think Max Strus, Ty Jerome, Georges Niang, they're all very much in play. Actually getting a ton of Niang for what it's worth, and I really haven't seen him. What do we have currently for Niang's ownership?
12%. I don't really see it. I don't see any sort of reason why I would run to it. He's okay in like a large field, run 150 if you want 10%, I guess. What percent are you getting?
Me, I'm getting around 20%. So,
I mean, unless you have a take, I think
it's like catch and shoot guys versus Atlanta. 47, right? They have the highest team total on the slate. I don't love it. Like, I obviously prefer Strus. I just like Cleveland in general tonight on the slate. Good matchup versus Atlanta. I just think a lot of it makes sense. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley should have very good games. Garland, like you said, is fresh. Yeah, I'm fine with that for the Cleveland side. And then on Atlanta, like not much. DeAndre Hunter, maybe Onyeka Okongwu, but really not much in the Atlanta side. I don't want to play Trae Young. Currently getting very little of Trae Young, like 5%. But yeah, that's what I currently have for this game.
I'm not trying to be paranoid. I did say this the other night on the show with Atlanta, and I was like, somebody is going to be sitting. I wouldn't play anybody on that Atlanta bench. I just did not trust what the Hawks have been doing. And 2 games in a row, they got goofy. I remember I said I'm not playing Hunter because he played a bunch of minutes the night before, history of leg problems, knee problems. And it wasn't Hunter, but it was Capella, the guy that ended up sitting. I would not play anybody on the bench for Atlanta, just as a general rule tonight. There's no need. There's nobody that looks great. And there's a slight non-zero chance risk that all of a sudden now it's going to be Hunter's number tonight. And I'm not going to play Nance or Gay or Wallace or Roddy. It's all nonsense. The chat's talking about Okongwu. Of course, he's certainly interesting. Plays center, pretty appealing position. We currently have Okongwu at 6%. No, 28 minutes going his way. How do we feel about Okongwu? Didn't sound like you're very interested in Atlanta in general. And neither is the field, right? And Trae is the one star, fantasy star, that's coming in at single-digit ownership, which I think is right. How many lineups do you have to make, Noto? And so you say, screw it, I'm going to make a Trae Young lineup.
Ooh, it'd probably be, I don't know, 6 to 10, above 5 probably, which I don't do in NBA. But, yeah, Okongwu is probably my favorite guy. He's shown the ceiling recently, 45-plus in 5 of his last 8. But, man, Cleveland's front court is just so good defensively. I do like the Niang call. I was just looking at Atlanta's numbers defensively. They've allowed the 6th most three-point attempts this season and have allowed the 4th highest three-point percentage this season. So definitely good for catch-and-shoot guys. Strus could be interesting too.
Yeah. Bobby, I saw you in the chat talking about Ricochet. He's somebody that's in your pool?
Yeah, I'm getting about 20%. Yeah, I don't know why I skipped over him. I just feel like I prefer at 4,100. I think it's a good price. He's only going to be like 3% owned, right? So I don't know. I'm taking a pretty overweight stance currently.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have, and again, this is like before ownership comes into play. I'd rather have Connect. I'd rather have Scottie Pippen, who's 3.8. I'd rather have Kennard, that's 4.1.
Yeah, so, I haven't rerun since we got the jaw stuff. Yeah, I haven't run since we got the jaw stuff. So
that makes sense. Yeah, and I imagine he's not officially ruled out. I assume he's not going to play, and I assume our projection team is going to remove him shortly, and we'll give it a refresh. I'll be on alarm for that. But I think I'm curious what you guys think, but we'll get there in a second. Let's talk about Minnesota and Utah. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and drop that third clue. I don't think we have any winners just yet. Let's see. Checking out the Discord channel. It is not Chris Mullen or Peyton Manning or League of Their Own. That's a movie. Wrong day. It is not Emma Smith or, let's see, David Wright. I love the random names. It's definitely not Joe Mauer. All right. So clue number 3, the third clue is painted. Painted is the third clue. All right. Let me know in the Discord who we are talking about. Okay. Let's talk about the T-Wolves and the Jazz. 225 is the total. Minnesota back half of back-to-back. Midday downgrade for Mike Conley. They gave him a thumb despite his revenge. He is questionable. Naz Reid is off the injury report. He was ill last night. As far as Utah, their injury report has changed. They got healthier. We're doing air quotes. John Collins is good to go. Jazang is still out. Kessler is good to go. Sexton good to go. As far as Minnesota, anything else of note? Oh, yeah, DiVincenzo. He's out for a while. We know that with his toe. Noto, your team here in Utah versus Minnesota. We talked about Minnesota earlier being one of the more popular teams. I don't really know how to play Jazz players, really, because the prices haven't really affected. The prices don't really reflect like where these guys have been of late, and now everybody's back. So like, there's no bargains. If anything, like market price is the best you're going to do. But we like the Minnesota side, if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going through Mike Conley's game log. It looks like he's played 2 back-to-backs, and in the front ends of those, he's played 24 and 26 minutes. Last night he played 30 minutes, I think. So I'm kind of expecting him to sit, and if that's the case, I'm definitely gonna, get some definitely like Anthony Edwards. He's been playing a lot better recently. The Rudy Gobert revenge is one thing. I think he could end up being a little bit higher owned than Julius Randle on DraftKings, especially where we get 2 centers. So kind of like Julius Randle in tournaments. He could be the forgotten kind of spend up guy tonight. Outside of that, I just don't feel good about anyone on the Jazz. They don't have their RG values. The best one is negative 5.3. I can't remember seeing a team that bad this season.
It's bad. How do you guys like Gobert in Utah? How are things left? Is he well received by the crowd, or?
I don't think people really liked him when he was here. So when he left, everyone was happy he left. So I don't think people hate him. I think it's kind of we got good draft picks for him, so we're happy. So now it's just kind of indifferent.
Okay. Yeah, I never felt like he was beloved there in Utah. By the way, projections have changed, and there's Scottie Pippen hitting stuff. Scottie Pippen at 3.8 is hitting some things that I'm seeing. Okay, give the old lineup HQ a refresh. They're on top of it as far as Memphis. They did officially rule out Ja, even though he's not officially ruled out. He's doubtful. Good enough. Jump in there, Bobby. Minnesota, Utah. Can you make a case for anybody in Utah, or you just want to talk Minnesota?
I have zero interest in Utah, guys. In terms of Minnesota, obviously Anthony Edwards, I think, stands out. Rudy Gobert, 5'6". We were talking revenge narrative. I can go to revenge narrative with Rudy. I will say Rudy's a very easy person to dislike, in my opinion, for what it's worth.
I always wonder, revenge narrative, do they work for centers that just they can't really get up extra shots? Are they just going to attack the glass harder?
Yeah, I know. That's a good point. I was kind of being a little sarcastic, but I don't mind Rudy. Rob Dillingham at 3.2. I think he's fine as well if we expect Conley to sit, which I think he may sit. I'm leaning towards the sit with the midday downgrade. Just thinking through who else I would actually have interest in. On the Utah side, Jordan Clarkson at 5'7", no one's going to play him at all, right? Isaiah Collier at 5'5", no one's going to play him. So in large field stuff, I think you can mix some of these guys in, but I would not go crazy and definitely wouldn't play them in single entry or 3 max. But that's pretty much what I have for this game. Dean? Dino? Did we lose Dean?
I hit the mute button. I was coughing. My apologies. I was talking about Clarkson, and the question with him is how much is Utah going to play him? Because he just came back from injury. He played 21, 22 minutes. That's kind of what we're projecting right now. He's 5'7" on DK. Is he cheaper on FanDuel? Because then maybe I know he was cheaper when he first came out. Yeah, he's jumped up to 5'6". Yeah, if you think he's going to play 25 minutes or so, I guess that's possible. But I don't know. I don't know if he gets there. And again, it's pretty crowded now in Utah. By the way, LeBron officially in with his foot. Eric in chat says not touting McDaniels. I actually wrote up McDaniels today. So Utah gives up the most opponents steals, gives up the most opponent blocks, and the 4th most opponent threes. And Jaden McDaniels' price is up, but this is a spot, especially on FanDuel, you get that extra point for stocks. It's a spot where you really can't predict these things fully accurate. There's a high variance to it. But if you catch that night where he gets 5 stocks, in 3 threes, and this is the one it's more likely to happen. He hits over 1.5 threes, something like that per game. He averages 2.5 stocks. So I do like McDaniels. And he's the 6th most popular T-Wolf. Nobody's playing him amongst the Minnesota guys. As far as the rankings, if we look at ownership, you can kind of run it down. So that's my tournament take. And I never play nobody ever touts Jaden McDaniels tournament play, but his floor has been awesome, and he's going to play for 30 plus minutes, barring goofiness, maybe 35. And yeah, ownership wise, we have Gobert, Randall, Edwards, all in the 20s. Conley currently at 18%. That might change. Dillingham at 12, McDaniels at 12, and Nas at 12. So, yeah, that's my tournament pitch for McDaniels. I'm in agreement with Eric in chat, which maybe I'm going to reconsider everything.
I like it. He's been real good the last couple weeks.
Anything else? But funny comment here in chat. My the clue was painting, and somebody guessed painting Manning. Shout out to Thomas the Great. It's a good guess. It's not correct, but it was very clever.
Could have been correct. It was probably a more clever guy to, you know what I mean? More clever guy than clever answer than what you probably have in store for us, I would say.
Well, it's a more clever answer, but it's a more wrong answer too.
Okay.
So you get points for being right more so than being clever.
Dean seems aggressive. I'm gonna back up.
Bobby, your favorite player in Minnesota is who again?
Favorite player on Minnesota is I don't know, I'd say Gobert.
Yeah. I don't think he's my favorite. I have some, but I don't think he's my favorite. And Noto, I'm sorry, your favorite player for Minnesota is?
I'll go man.
I don't think I'm getting as much Gobert as the field is. Well, I don't think the field is. I don't know why I'm getting so much Gobert, 5,600.
He's cheap.
What about Dillingham at 3.2?
I think you're kind of rooting for a blowout to some degree, and it would help if Conley sits. We're currently giving him 17 minutes. How many more minutes would he grab if Conley doesn't go? Because he might just add. I'm trying to think. Would they add like Jalen Clark to the rotation? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You have a take on that, Noto? We don't have an internet set up for this, I don't believe.
Yeah, maybe get into the 20s, but I think on a different short slate, he'd definitely be viable. There's just so many good values on the Lakers and Grizzlies now.
We got NR in chat says, why does Dean not share his favorites versus asking the rest? Well, for starters, I'm like the host, and I'm the person asking questions. And secondly, I gave a whole spiel on Jaden McDaniels. Did you guys not hear that? That was there. That happened. I didn't necessarily frame it as, get ready, this is my favorite play. But, I do like him for tournaments, and he's currently in one of my lineups. But we might be scrambling, too, because, of course, we can't have nice things when we're doing these shows up to the bell, world's smallest violin, and we got the Ja news. So we are going to need to, it's going to be okay. All right, Houston and Memphis, we did get our projection changed as well. We'll go ahead and drop that fourth clue for the people as well. Fourth clue is drinker. Drinker is the fourth clue. So it's retired, guys, painted, drinker. Houston at Memphis, back half of the TNT doubleheader, 237 is the total. It is definitely high. It is fairly tight. Houston's a 5-point dog here. I believe this is the battle of the number 2 and the number 3 teams in the West. Houston being 2, Memphis being 3. I think Memphis is 3. Ja, we are assuming, is out. Who are we projecting to start? Probably Kennard. I don't see an official projection just yet, but no Ja for Houston. We also have Şengün, who's questionable, and that certainly can shake things up as well. I guess Jock Landale might get some run. I don't know. I think we have an if-then set up for that also, but I can just throw out the Bobby. Houston, Memphis. We are figuring this out here on the fly. Kicking Ja out. Triple J gets a little bit of a boost as well. Bain as well. And then you got the cheapies like Kennard and Pippen. What say you?
Yeah, for me, I think my favorite play in this game is a little bit interesting. I like Amen Thompson a lot at 8,300 just because of the minutes. The other night his minutes got cut back. I think it was a doubleheader or the back half of a doubleheader. Maybe it's the front half. I just think Thompson is, like you said, a stud. And at 8,300, I think people might shy away, and I'm going to have a little bit of Thompson. Cam Whitmore at 4K, I don't mind. He's going to be under 10% owned. I think he's interesting in tournaments. Şengün at 9K, he's going to be 5%. I'm fine with him. Really, outside of that, like, there isn't too much on the Houston side. I guess you can go to Fred VanVleet. I don't love it. In terms of Scottie Pippen, I feel like I might like other plays better than Scottie Pippen currently. Scottie Pippen might hit a ton of people. I haven't done the rerun. Well, I did the rerun after the Janus, but really didn't hit a ton of my stuff. So I don't know. Maybe taking the fade approach might be the best bet with Scottie Pippen.
We are currently giving Kennard 26 minutes, Pippen 23. Very similar projection. Pippen a little bit more as far as fantasy points per minute, but both around 21-ish as a median score for DK. Pippen's a little bit cheaper. Also, Triple J got a big jump up to 45 fantasy points as the median projection on DK, so he might be hitting optimals all of a sudden. Got to rerun some things. Noto, I assume you're rerunning and doing some things on the fly as well. How do you feel about how Memphis looks now, and then your thoughts on Houston?
Yeah, Memphis certainly looks a lot better. I don't know if I'll get to Bane or Jackson. Just a tough matchup. But yeah, I like Jalen Wells, Scottie Pippen, some of the other values. I think a few weeks ago when we were doing our final NFL show together, Bobby, you came on and we're not too happy with Jalen Wells at the moment. So that's kind of funny. And then, yeah, Thompson, I mean, the chat's on it, birthday narrative. One of the guys is saying, he's going to be 9K next week. Wouldn't be surprised by that one bit. If you look at his game log, it's just constantly over 50 fantasy points. So he's probably one of my favorite spends alongside of LeBron James, especially now that we have all this value that we, too much that we don't know what to do with. Then agree on Şengün. I think he's interesting in tournament. That's pretty much it for me.
All right. Do want to hit some questions as well. We got 22 minutes until lock. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on notifications. And let's see if there's any questions. Try to hold off on those until we get this knockout, this last game, Orlando and Portland. By the way, nobody's guessed Fleet Thursday just yet. And let's just give a bonus clue on the fly to make it a little bit easier. This player, athletes, played basketball. So we can just guess basketball players going forward. And we can go ahead and drop that fifth clue as well. Let's see if we can get a winner. The fifth clue, I know exactly who's going to be guessed right away, is Nut Punch. Nut Punch is the fifth clue. So retired, guys, painted, drinker, and Nut Punch. And
is it Boozer? That's a good guess. And painted his hair on.
Well, I'm glad it is because yes, it is. Okay. It is Carlos Boozer. That was. And if people don't know what we're talking about, I sent it to producer Steve. I'm not sure if we can throw it up on the screen or not, but we have a picture of that when Carlos Boozer, that infamous night. There it is. Where he was having hair issues. I think one of his teammates was like clowning him, or they kind of recommended like this particular brand, and he couldn't get it off, and just he played with that, and it was hilarious. And he had a great attitude about it. It was very funny. He talked about it on I heard him talk about it on Levitard. It was pretty funny. But yeah, shout out to Carlos Boozer and his painted on hair. And of course, Nut Shot, a Nut Punch, was when he famously celebrated an and one and punched a ref in the nuts in the process. And maybe we have that gif as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, maybe producer Steven. Did you recall any of these things, Bobby? You remember Carlos Boozer?
Yeah, I remember Carlos Boozer, Dean. I just can't believe that you picked him as the fleet athlete of the day because he's so random. But I guess that's the point of the game, right? Yeah, random is the point of the game, and also Noto was on, and I'm like, oh, let's pick somebody from Utah, or at least played in Utah at some point. So that's what that was. There's the nut shot, by the way. The celebration and one, I mean, just ridiculous. It looks like it's like fake, but it's totally real. It definitely happened, and I don't think he was teed up because it was just an accident. He wasn't trying to, hit the ref in the nets. By the way, guys, if you're wondering, five guys. He was number 5. He wore number 5. That's what that was. A reference to the number he basically always wore. Okay, last game. I think we end the night on a whimper. We talk about the hammer. This is a chisel game for me, as far as I can tell. Orlando and Portland, 212.5. That is not a very appealing total. Orlando in Portland, 6-point favorite here. We do have, I guess, a kind of a key piece here that's questionable in Jalen Suggs. Gary Harris is available. Who cares? Portland's Jeremy Grant is questionable as well. Bobby, Orlando and Portland, that's 20% of the slate. I just don't love this game. I don't know if I feel a need to wait to see if Suggs is in or out. I'm not playing him if he's in. And I don't know if anything changes dramatically enough where I'm like,
going to change things. I know you're a big Bancaro guy, but I don't like this game. So convince me on something, or just pass. Do whatever you want.
I'm playing Paulo. I got him at 30% currently. Also have Franz at 30%. Favorite Portland guy, probably Anthony Simons, I would say. The issue with Portland is they have that like 3-guard rotation. I think I prefer Simons to Scoot and Sharp. Yeah, and outside of that, like really not much on the Orlando side. Anyone have any interest in KCP?
No.
3,900? No. Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather play Pippen. I'd rather play Kennard. I'd rather play Connect. Like all those guys at similar price points, right? I'm sure there's somebody I missed.
He was the only. I have a very little ownership to KCP, but he was the only one in my other guy in my 150 from this game.
No, you want to jump in here and tell me? By the way, get your questions in. Get them in the Discord first. That's what I would prioritize. Again, rotogrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. We get 18 minutes, so we will have plenty of time to field some questions in regards to the slate. And if things are popping up in YouTube, I'm trying to keep an eye on that as well. If I miss anything, I think producer Steve will throw those questions my way. But yeah, Noto, Orlando and Portland, are we enthused?
Not enthused. I only build one lineup per slate, so I'm not going to get to this game at all. Large field stuff, maybe look to Abdia. He's been real good recently. Usage is up. The minutes are up. Tough matchup. I mean, even if Suggs is out, I don't think that makes me interested in Bancaro or Wagner. So, yeah, for me, it's probably just an easy fade in small field stuff.
All right. Let's just do like a quick circle back before we start getting some questions. I do want to get let me ask just a couple general questions. Bobby, you have a favorite game. Give me your favorite game on the slate to maybe stack up a little bit to some degree.
Cleveland, Atlanta.
Same question, Noto. Favorite game on the slate?
Lakers, Wizards.
Oh, yeah. Hoosiers is pointing out that Carlos Boozer was in the same team as Andy Means. Yeah, Andy Means, of course, back in Duke. And Andy, I believe, has the all-time March Madness record of a 3-point percentage, 1,000, 100, however they do that, 1 for 1 in the March Madness. So shout out to Andy, tied with a bunch of people, I'd imagine. Give me your favorite point guard, Noto. Point guard specific. Favorite point guard.
One sec.
And Bobby, have one ready because I'm just going to be bouncing back and forth.
I'm rerunning, Dean.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Austin Reeves.
Yeah, Austin Reeves, favorite point guard. By the way, are you tinkering right now, Noto, as far as your lineup? Are you down to 3 Lakers with the new news? Or you're still at 4? You're still kind of
tinkering, and I always forget I got to update the core plays live, so I'm wrapping up some injury news right now.
Is it multitasking fun? Bobby, your favorite point guard?
I'd go Reeves as well.
Jump to shooting guard, Bobby. Same question.
In terms of shooting, I got to pull them up, Dean. I got to pull them up. Yeah, in terms of shooting guard, probably my favorite shooting guard is we'll go Simons. I like Simons. Yeah, I think that's it. He's good for tournaments, obviously. I think he's interesting. Desmond Bane, you could throw in there as well. Edwards is probably the best spend at shooting guard. Donovan Mitchell falls behind him in terms of spends, but I think those 2 guys that I mentioned are interesting for tournaments. Dino.
Team.
Sorry. I'm multitasking over here too. I apologize. No, same question. Favorite shooting guard is who?
Okay, first, I love this from A Bean in the chat. When you Google Andy Means Duke, 10th picture is Noto, me. So that's great.
What?
We got to try that out.
Have Steve do that.
I'm going to go Max Christie. The game log isn't great, but again, I'm falling for the on-off tool on Fantasy Labs with AD and D'Angelo off the floor, 8% usage boost.
No, jump to a small forward. Your favorite small forward is who?
All right. I already said Max Christie, so I'm going to go Amen Thompson, birthday narrative.
couldn't it go either way? Like he wasn't out partying last night for his birthday, or is he celebrating tonight?
I think tonight, right? Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Got to be tonight.
Do you remember your 22nd birthday? 22, who cares? 21, I guess, right? But 22, whatever.
If it's a good birthday, you don't remember it, no?
There you go. Small forward.
Good answer, Noto.
What do you got for me, Bobby? Small forward?
Small forward, pulling it up, Dean. This is
Well, you got to anticipate. You see, there's a pattern. What were you doing the last minute when I was talking to Noto? You didn't anticipate this.
I'm gonna go Franz. I'm gonna go Franz at small forward, and Eamon Thompson followed behind him. DeAndre Hunter's in the mix. Denny Avdia, Tamani Kamara. I think those guys are in play. You like Max Christie, Max Struess for value. I think those guys.
I do?
Noto does, sorry.
Okay. Remember, I don't give my picks. I'm just the host. I'm just asking questions.
We want your takes, Dean. We want the cash game team as always.
I'm not playing cash games tonight.
What are you playing?
Give me power forward, Bobby.
Power forward. 1 sec for power forward. I thought you were going to go to Noto. LeBron James, easiest spend on the slate. Paolo right behind him, followed by Evan Mobley for me. Jaren Jackson's going to get an interesting boost. I think I'd prefer Kuzma to Jaren Jackson. How's that one? Is that an interesting flip there?
That's a take.
Maybe not. Denny's always in play there as well. Rui for value. I think he's fine. Yeah, that's pretty much what I get.
No, do you need to refresh, or did you anticipate that I was going to ask you about power forwards and you're already there?
Yeah, it's the snake draft, it goes to Bobby, one to me, it goes back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to go LeBron. Easy answer there for me.
Yeah, let's knock out some centers, and then we're going to get some questions as well. We got 12 minutes, plenty of time. Centers, no?
Yeah, I'm going to go Evan Mobley. Atlanta's front court was already bad defensively. No Johnson, no Capella. I think he's going to have a real nice game.
And close us out here, Bobby. Centers, what do you got for me?
Yeah, Joe Val's was getting a ton of ownership. I think I'm going to take the fade on Joe Val or just be significantly under because I want to get up to Evan Mobley. I want to get up to Rudy Gobert. I want to get up to Julius Randle. We talked about Onyeka Okongwu. I think these guys are fine. Jackson Hayes was another guy we talked about. Yeah, that's pretty much center. Sengun, you can throw in the mix. Jared Allen's there too.
All right. I am seeing some questions in the Discord. Noto, you're going to be my cash guy if there's any cash questions. Swag with Chris, FanDuel Cash, Hayes, or Joe Val. Who do you prefer amongst those two?
I like Hayes a lot, but I would probably just go J Val for cash.
Shout out to Bill T, who was celebrated his 22nd birthday in Japan. All right, some questions in chat. Hoosier saying Banner's got here late. What do we think of Sengun? Is he in? I don't have a good take on this, guys. I don't know. I don't really know much about the injury. I think they said contusion, which my brain says, well, that's just a bruise, right? So I guess he's going to play, but I don't know. You guys said Aline. I assume he's playing, but I don't know. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Questions in YouTube. Javier wants to know, there's no specifics. Give me specifics. It's more helpful. Let me know if it's a site. Let me know if it's tournaments, but we'll do it the best we can. For Bobby, that's Alexander Walker or Pippen. You like Pippen or Walker?
I like Pippen more now.
Yeah. All right. Any interest in Connect? Eric is asking. I think he's really interesting. Probably not cracking cash stuff now that the Memphis stuff opened up a little bit. But, Bobby, how do we feel? Do we have some Connect in your pool?
I now have 35% Connect.
Ooh, that's a big boy number, 35%. Yeah, I like the stand, though. Gobert or Joe Val? Jaime's asking in chat. Noto, you like Gobert or Valanciunas?
I don't know. I'll probably Gobert.
Bobby, just a general take from Eatery Edge. I know we mentioned him in passing. How do you feel about Garland?
currently on my main team. I have him at 33%, so I like him.
Is Gay starting? He is starting again. Goofy stuff might be abound in Atlanta. Just a heads up. Young, Daniels, Ricochet, Gay, and Okungwu. I don't know what's going on, but I like I said before, I said I would not play anybody on the Atlanta bench. There's the risk versus reward. They might do something goofy again. I'm not saying they will, but they might. And like, who's the guy that you want on Atlanta's bench anyway? Do you really need DeAndre Hunter? I don't think so.
What do you think about Gay starting? Because I'm getting a good bit now.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. Is he still minimum?
I think so. I have 30%.
That seems like too much to me.
3,900.
He did play 22 minutes last game. He's bouncy, like athletic. I don't know, man. Noto, you have an official take on Gay? We're giving him 16 minutes. Looks like maybe that's going to change if I hit refresh.
Yeah, I mean, real small sample, but I like the usage so far. 20% both games. I'm interested.
Yeah. Do you think there's something goofy happening, Noto, here again with Atlanta? Am I just being paranoid? We've seen a pattern.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I wouldn't trust anybody that's not starting.
Yeah. We just got the reserves mentioned as well. Maybe we'll talk about that after lock briefly. So it's a tough read. Swagger Chris says it's smart to play 4 Lakers and then backload the rest of your lineup till 9. Noto, you were playing 4. Are you on 4 still or no?
I am currently on
probably 3.
2 right now.
Yeah, I'm not at 4 anymore. Falcor is asking FanDuel Singer entry Gay or Hayes. I mean, I would just say Hayes is probably more stable, more reliable if you want to be ambitious. But I mean, you have a lean on that. I guess Bobby, you're feeling ambitious about Gay with what the 30% you had him at?
Yeah, I'm at 30.
Jumping back into and no, tell me this: you're making one lineup, right? So you got to make some tough decisions. Who's the one player like you don't have that you wish you did? You're afraid you don't have in their lineup.
Probably Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, that's a tough one that I have. Let's see. Mr. Richard is asking. I'll ask Noto this because this is probably what you're playing. DK single entry GPP, the top center. I'm assuming you're in those streets with me and Mr. Richard as well.
Yeah. I mean, I like Mobley a lot. I think Gobert is going to be pretty popular. I'll go Mobley, but man, I kind of want to play Jackson Hayes. I just think it's a good spot for him.
I think he's the fun one. I think he's definitely the fun. And I remember him the same way you do when he was in New Orleans, right? When he was in New Orleans, he had some games where he really got loose. And like this year, he's not been amazing, but it's small sample stuff. Butto, our guy Butto, saying thoughts on punting Rashawn Holmes. Well, he didn't mop, right? So he's not starting, and he's not mopping. I'm not saying you can't do it because he's 3K, but like, what's left? What's left for Rashawn Holmes? I don't. Anybody like Rashawn Holmes? Is he in your pool, Bobby? You're running 100 lineups, I assume, or a bunch of lineups.
16.
Okay, so you have some.
Yep.
I assume you split them all from Joe Val.
Yep. Not playing with Joe Val. I'm under on Joe Val.
Okay, so that's one of your takes.
Yeah, I actually really faded Joe Val.
Eric wants to know, Bobby, thoughts on Dyson Daniels. Oh my God, the stat he's giving is ridiculous.
No Dyson Daniels for me.
What about Dyson Daniels, who have given up – the Cavs have given up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing point guards across the last 15 games?
I don't hate it.
That's just a nonsense stat. It's just like there's positionless basketball in 15 games and who those point guards are playing against. Yeah. All right. Now I'm tilted. Is Mike Conley going to play? We don't think so, but we don't know, is our official answer. Eric saying my favorite play is Ayton. Am I crazy? Okay, so Noto, this is a question. We're probably not. Gay or Robert Williams, Noto? Horace is asking Robert Williams or Gay. I guess Gay is safer?
Yeah, I would go with Gay.
Is Ayton questionable? Did I forget that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah. And Klingon's there. Yeah, I wouldn't. How many minutes are we projecting for Williams? He probably isn't projecting for much. We're projecting him for 4 minutes, so I would not play Robert Williams. Yeah, I don't understand why he would be considered at all. Bobby, George wants to know FanDuel tournaments, Jalen Green or Poole? Is it a pool party or Jalen Green?
More interested in Poole.
All right. Any questions coming in from the Discord? They're talking about Connect and his ability to threes. Yeah, for sure. He can hit some threes. Anger is asking about Ty Jerome. He was projecting better earlier. Bobby, Ty Jerome?
I have a good bit of Ty Jerome.
No. Alan wants to know Jalen Green or Mitchell Spider on national TV.
I'll go Donovan. Don't have a strong take there. I got a question for you, Dean.
Yeah.
Utility. Do I go Rudy or Jaden McDaniels?
Oh man. I think what you do is you play the results. If you're in the driver's seat, you're playing well because that's what a 9 o'clock game, and I assume you have a lot of Lakers and some early stuff. If you're doing well, you stick with Rudy, and if you need to play a catch up, you go with McDaniels, or you can go secret door C and play Nas.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, lots of options.
I think you move off of Gobert if you're behind. Is the long story short.
I like it. Yeah, I'm up to 4 Lakers now because I'm playing Hayes.
Let's see. DK Cash for Matt. Kennard or Wells? I think that's Kennard.
I don't know. I don't have a strong take on that one.
Our projections are essentially identical, for the record. So I don't. Yeah. I'd probably go Kennard, but I'm not gonna argue about it. Bobby George wants to know FanDuel tournaments: Jonas Valanciunas or Rudy Gobert?
Gobert.
L. McMill, Collins or Markkanen. Noto, we didn't like either one of them. We didn't like anybody in Utah, I don't think, but you got to pick one of these two, Markkanen or Collins.
I was going to say, he might be going to the game. That's really the only explanation. And if he is, just play somebody from Minnesota. I don't like either one.
That's that's kind of that's where I'm at as well. All right. Sorry, I'm changing a lineup on the fly, and I'm not doing a great job of it. Right. My apologies. Bobby, did I ask you who the player that you're most afraid of not having? Did you answer that question?
I would say Jovel.
You're not Xing him out, though. He's in the pool to some degree?
I'm in single entry, but I'm not playing him in tournaments.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
And in large field stuff, yeah.
Favorite center on FanDuel. I know we kind of answered this several times, but Horace wants to know. We're up to the bell, but let's see if we can get one or two more before we sneak out of here. Bobby, your favorite center on FanDuel would be who for tournaments?
Favorite center on FanDuel would be Mobley.
That's the guy I'm afraid of not having, by the way. I did not end up with any Mobley or basically any Cleveland, which I'm a little bit concerned about. Collins or Simmons? Paul wants to know. No. Collins or Simmons? Simons. I guess it's Simons. There's 2 M's, though.
Yeah, I'll go with Bobby's boy, Simons.
All right. Anything else before we step aside and get out of here and, watch a little bit of basketball, watch some Lakers? I think we're good to go. Yeah. Got anything else, Noto? We're at the bell, 7 o'clock. I don't think there's any shenanigans. I think we are good. But do appreciate everybody hanging out. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. And turn on those notifications. Tomorrow, we'll be starting at 5 o'clock on the East Coast because bigger slates. So we'll dedicate 2 hours. Noto, you back tomorrow night? I think I heard you say Thursdays and Fridays. Is that your deal?
I was supposed to be, but we're all driving down to southern Utah to see my nephew play some high school basketball. So not going to be on tomorrow, but I'll be on next Thursday and Friday.
Awesome. Enjoy that. How about yourself, Bobby? Well, you got your birthday tomorrow. You're probably taking off.
Now I'm filling in.
Oh, you're working on your birthday?
Yeah, why not?
Wait, you're filling in for me?
Yep.
Unbelievable. He's so mad at you. You can see it in his face. You're making him work on his birthday?
No, it's perfectly fine. I don't mind. I'm going out at 9:30, Dean. We made sure the reservation was late so you could show up.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we shall see Bobby tomorrow night. Noto, good luck to your nephew. Hopefully he hits the overs. And all right, we'll step aside. We'll get out of here and enjoy the rest of your evening. Holler.